Hey guys, I got something in the mail today that I forgot that I ordered. Imagine that. But I wanted to get these two things for a comparison video so that we can look at them and see which one's better, which one, you may like more. And what I'm talking about is the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox and the Bare Necessities palettes, I should say. So this Bare Necessities palette came out, I'm not exactly sure, I think it was sometime last year. And then the Stone Cold Fox came out the end of last year, I do believe. So I wanted to kind of compare the two and see, the similarities, the differences, and see just what other ColourPop palettes I may have that could already possibly have the same colors in there. So just wanted to compare some things. So when the Bare Necessities came out, I honestly don't remember why I didn't pick it up. I cannot for the life of me remember why, but I do remember looking at it when it came out, because they came out with a brush set about the same time. So here's the actual palette itself, looks the same basically. And I remember the brush set coming out is why I remember I looked at this palette. So I can't remember why I didn't pick it up. So here's a look at the palette. Really beautiful, some neutral tones, my kind of tones. That's why I'm like, I don't know why I didn't pick it up. I was looking at it. I just pulled it out really quickly today before I went back. I got my mail and then I went back to work. Just to see, there's not too many shades. There are some, but there are not too many shades of that. Sorry, my lip. Put on some lip balm and it was like gathering in my lip. I'm sorry. But there's not too many shades of that like matte color with the flecks of glitter. I don't care for it. I don't understand the point of it, I guess. But anyway, there's some really beautiful colors in here. There are some beautiful transition colors in here, and I just think it's a great palette all the way around. So that's why I'm like, I don't remember why I didn't pick it up. Of course, now I don't necessarily need it with all the other neutrals I have in my collection, but I'm a ColourPop junkie. Here's the Stone Cold Fox palette, basically the same thing. The writing on it is a like silverish colder tone, and the Bare Necessities was more of a rose gold tone. So kind of compare that. This, I guess, it's more of like a darker silver, like a pewter, I guess. I can't think of the word I'm trying to go for. And here's this palette. So a lot cooler in tone, but very, very similar. Definitely they're going for a cooler vibe in this one, but the tones are very similar as far as, colors, the color story. So it's definitely one or the other. If you're going to appeal to somebody who likes a warmer tone, somebody who likes a cooler tone, but these are definitely very neutral shades as well. So let's just kind of look at these, right next to each other to kind of like compare. I know my arm's at a weird angle, so it's weird, but you can kind of see that the tones are very similar, but yet of course there's a lot of differences too. The undertones are very different, but the vibe of the palette is very similar. If you're at all familiar with ColourPop, you know that they like launch something. Sometimes it's more than one thing a week. It's like every week they're rolling out with something. So it's only like natural that they're gonna like duplicate shades. I don't know any company that would roll out that many things, that many eyeshadow palettes specifically, and not duplicate shades. I just don't know how you couldn't. So in thinking about the Bare Necessities, I was thinking about other, whoops. I was thinking about other ColourPop palettes that would have like the warmer tones in it. And of course, my very first thought was my Going Coconuts. Although it does have some warm tones, it also has cooler tones in there. So I just wanted to kind of look at that. I'm gonna try to somehow the mirror so you're not. So there's probably some similar shades in this palette, I would have to say. Okay, do you see this? This first one that I swatched is Cocoa Crush, which is the middle one out of the Going Coconuts. And this one right next to it on my middle finger is Silk Teddy right here. So here I swatched it on the back of my hand. The Silk Teddy is definitely more opaque than the Cocoa Crush, but they're very similar in tone. So I'm not gonna sit here and go through the whole palette and try to like dupe the colors of the whole Going Coconuts. I just wanted you to see that there are very similar tones in Bare Necessities, and just know that if you have Going Coconuts and you don't want to go for a bigger palette like this, you definitely don't have to. Bare Necessities is not new, so if you know, don't want it, that's okay too. But I just wanted to let you guys know because these are a little bit more unique. They don't have the 30 pan palettes are much more unique with ColourPop than their 9 pans or you know, smaller palettes. So here's the Stone Cold Fox with the Going Coconuts. You can see very similar color stories here. Definitely not unique, you know what I mean? So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time going through every ColourPop, but I just wanted to show you that if you have some of these other smaller palettes in your collection, then you probably don't need the larger ones because you can probably make up a larger one. This is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes though, the Going Coconuts, one I reach for quite a bit, and I really love this palette. So that was the first one that came to mind. Another one that comes to mind is the Nude Mood. This is much more warmer than the Going Coconuts. Definitely can pick out some similar tones in these palettes. So definitely if you have Nude Mood, you probably, you know, can dupe some of the same shadows that are in Bare Necessities. And since it's warmer, I don't know that necessarily you could dupe a lot with the Stone Cold Fox, but I'll hold them up together so you can see. Not a ton of shades to dupe with these two, but still similar color stories. You might think this is a little bit weird, but I pulled out my Blush Crush because it does have some of these softer tones in it. And yes, there are pinks in there too, but there's also some like mauve shades in Bare Necessities. So I just wanted to kind of look at those two together. I can definitely see some similarities between the two, and probably even with the Stone Cold Fox, I could probably pick out some similarities. You just kind of have to take out the palette, like the behind color of the shadows themselves, and just look at the shadows, and then you can really find some good dupes. Yeah, and they're not necessarily dupes, I guess, since they are from the same company, but you kind of understand where I'm coming from there. I even thought about the Grandeur palette that just came out not long ago with their Dark Blooms collection. There are some definite shades in there, I think, that could be similar for sure. You know, definitely similar for sure. So just wanted to show you that one. There's the Grandeur with the Stone Cold Fox. Well, I have Stone Cold Fox. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Baroque palette that came out. Now, these do have more blue tones in it, but right here in these like center two, like this right through here and this right here, I see a lot of like gray and blues. They're more grays in person, but maybe some dupes, if you can see. Let's go ahead, we'll compare the Baroque to the Bare Necessities, even though I don't think that there's not many similarities between these two at all. I don't think. Then I also have the Making Mauves. I thought that probably some of these cooler tones could definitely, like maybe these over through here, and even like in this last row here, probably could be very similar. I feel like if I hold it like this, you can almost see them in their truest tones. So that's why I hold it like that. Same here with these two. So, in these 9 pans, there are some Super Shock shadows. So, I don't believe that the 30 pan palettes, I don't think that they have any Super Shocks. I could be wrong. It doesn't necessarily look like it to me, but I could be wrong. And another cool palette that I wanted to talk about, cool in tone, is the That's Taupe palette. I have used this, so it's a little messy. But this is a very cool tone palette, and I thought of it, of course, when talking about like in these middle rows right through here. But yeah, thought of that for sure when talking about Stone Cold Fox. Definitely some shades in there I think that could be duped for sure. But there's also unique shades too. So, you know, if you're just a collector of ColourPop, go for it. Get as many ColourPop palettes as you want. Trust me, I will not judge. And I'll just hold that. That's Taupe up next to Bare Necessities as well. Now there's probably other ColourPop palettes that are out there that I just don't have that I could compare it to. But that's the only ones that I thought of. Now, the reason the Stone Cold Fox palette came out about the same time that the Natasha Denona Glam palette came out, and so that's the reason I talked myself out of this one, is I thought, I'm spending all that money on Natasha Denona. I want to use Natasha Denona, so I don't need this one. So that's why I didn't get this in the beginning. And the only reason I bought both of these is there was a 30% off sale. So, you know me, I can't say no to a good sale. So, if I can do this, I was going to hold up my Natasha Denona Glam palette on the bottom and Stone Cold Fox on the top. You can see a lot of similarities. Of course, Stone Cold Fox has way more shadows in there, and it is very much more inexpensive, but it's still a lot of similarities. Did I say Stone Cold Fox has more options, more shadows? I think I said that backwards or wrong. I probably did. So Stone Cold Fox has more options for shadows because there's 30 in there, and this is only a 15 pan palette, so there's half the shadows in the Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona's formula is on a different level as far as I'm concerned. So there's that, but I did want to just mention it as far as, you know, the tones and the colors, and yes, you can definitely save money. So here is my Natasha Denona with the Bare Necessities. Some of the similar shades in there. Even though Glam palette is very much a cool tone palette, there's still a lot of similar shades in here. And since we're talking about Natasha Denona and I'm talking about a warm tone palette, I wanted to go ahead and pull out my bronze palette from Natasha Denona and just let you see some similarities in it with the Bare Necessities. And why not compare it to the Stone Cold Fox while we're at it? Much more in common with Bare Necessities, I know, but I just wanted to go ahead and compare it. So I could compare palettes all night long. I have tons of these neutral tone shades, cool, warm, all kinds in my collection. So yes, I could compare these, but I thought what I would do is I would do Bare Necessities on one eye and Stone Cold Fox on one eye, not necessarily trying to make the same look, just trying to show you what you can make out of each palette. So that's what we're gonna do today. Hey guys, so I started this video the other night and I didn't get to finish because my husband injured himself. It wasn't a bad injury, he just sprained his foot, and I ended up having to take him to the ER because he was afraid he did more than just sprain it. Which of course, you know, I wanted to get it checked out and make sure he was good too. I didn't want to, you know, God forbid he actually be very, very injured and it be something serious. So anyway, I wanted to get it taken care of too, so I didn't get to finish my video. Which is not the end of the world, trust me. But you're gonna see me in 2 different outfits for this video. Because I'm not gonna redo what I did the other night, because I got up to the point of like doing a look with this, so that's why I look different. I wanted to let you know. So we were talking about the Bare Necessities and the Stone Cold Fox palettes. So I was gonna do a look with each of these. I was gonna do Bare Necessities on this side and Stone Cold Fox on this side, I do believe. So let's do that. I'm gonna start with Bare Necessities. I did dip into this palette the other night because I started doing my eye look when I had to leave. So it does look like I've used it because I did. So there's some signs of use on this palette. I think what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna go into, there's so many shades. I'm gonna go into this shade here called All For You. Then I'm gonna go into this shade here called Act a Fool. Then I think I will go into Rumored right here. I'm going to take a little bit of Designer Duds and mix with that. Then on the inner corner, I'm going to take Silk Teddy. Shadows are super pigmented. They go on very well. I really like them. Like a regular ColourPop shadow. I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this full expose and just blend these edges. So there's Kick Up in the Pan. That's normal for ColourPop. So let's go for Stone Cold Fox on this side. Now, as far as using this palette, I have not yet. I've not dipped into this one. I only got into Bare Necessities, so this is a full first impression on this one. And I'm not trying to make this side match this side. It may look similar, but I'm not going for that, just so you guys know. I think I'm gonna go into this color here called Fascinated. That's a beautiful color. I like it a lot. And then I think I'm going to go into this shade here called Bold Type. I'm going to go into this shade here called Cult Classic. I think I'm going to go into this shade here. It's called Sediment to Be. And then in the inner part, I'm going to go into this one called I Dig It. We'll do the whole which eye do you like better when I finish it. Finish my face and everything. But they're very different. One is cooler, one is a little bit warmer. There is some cooler tones over here, I'm not gonna lie, but it's a warmer cool, if that makes any sense. So, but I'm very impressed. I have to say, with the Stone Cold Fox, very impressed with this one. It's a very, very, very good palette. So the Bare Necessities is as well. It's a wonderful palette. So, sorry, my hair is like this side curled really good today, and this one just kind of lost its curl. Anyway, so I love both palettes, honestly. So there's not one that I'm like, oh, I'll tell you my final thoughts at the end, but I'm loving both of them, I'm just gonna say, okay? So let me finish my face, I'll be back, and we'll finish up the eyes together. All right, I'm back. For foundation, I just went ahead and did something very quick that was right in front of me. I did the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream in shade Light 240. For concealer, I did the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo Concealer, just the regular. Then for setting powder, I used the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. For bronzer, I used the Kokie Matte Bronzer in the shade Stay Golden. For blush, I used the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duo in the shade Spiced Apple. Oh, I'm sorry, this is White Peach. I thought I had Spiced Apple. It's White Peach. But that's the shade I used for my blush. For my brows, I used the Anastasia Brow Wiz and the Milk Kush Fiber Brow Gel. That's what I used for my brows today. And I lined my waterline and tightline with the Kokie Velvet Smooth Eyeliner in Deepest Black. So, and one last thing, I almost forgot this. I used the L'Oreal Air Volume, I'm holding it upside down, the L'Oreal Air Volume Mascara, just for the top lashes, so we can finish the bottom. So, I didn't put on highlighter yet either. I just realized. So back to Bare Necessities. Whenever I hear Bare Necessities, I think of that song from the Jungle Book. Bare necessities, a simple bare necessity. I keep singing that over and over in my head. I know, I'm crazy. So on this side, I think what I'm going to do is take Actifull and just run it right here on the outer corner. And then for the rest, I'm going to take All For You and blend. I took a little bit of full expose just to clean up the edges a little bit. For highlighter for the eye, let's see. Let's do Idle Hour right here. So brow bone and inner corner. Now let's go to Stone Cold Fox. I'm going to take Bold Type. And then take a little bit of Fascinated. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this Luxe shade just to clean up the edges. And for highlight over here, let's try this shade. Let's see how deep it is. Then I'm going to take a little bit of I Dig It right on top. And I'm finally done. I forgot to tell you guys, I use my, I think I have mascara on me. I use my Juvia's Place lipstick in the shade Libra. I've got to get some more Juvia's Place. I've got to get some more Juvia's Place lipstick. They are so comfortable to wear. They're matte, but they don't feel super dry on your lips. They're still so comfortable. It's good. So, covering up this eye. What do you guys think about this one? How do you feel about it? Okay, covering up this eye. How you feel about it? Which is your favorite? Like this one 1 and this one 2. So you choose. Which one do you like better? Out of the palettes, I think they're both great. I don't think you could go wrong with either one. It depends on your choice of colors as far as, you know, do you like warmer tones or cooler tones? There's a lot of similar colors in each. The Stone Cold Fox, of course, is going to have cooler tones. There's just no doubt about it. There's a lot of cool tones in this palette. But these mauve shades over here are beautiful. So, so beautiful. I could probably replicate this eye with a lot of those mauve tones. So, absolutely just a beautiful, stunning palette. I love it. I think it's a great, not shade for shade dupe, but it's a great alternative to Natasha Denona's Glam palette. If you can't afford the Glam palette, and not that you can't afford, but that you just don't want to spend the $65 on it, I totally understand, totally get it. Go spend, I think this is regularly $25. So $25 for 30 shadows or $65 for 15. ColourPop has a wonderful formula. It's not as, in my opinion, it's not as good as Natasha Denona. That's my opinion. But some people have said differently. So everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Bare Necessities, I love this one too. I love this eye look. I love these mauve tones, these warmer tones. I love them. I used this color the other night when I started on this eye, and oh my gosh, is it not gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. There's just so many good tones in this palette. I just love it. Both palettes have a very nice black shade and a very nice lighter shade. Both of the palettes do, so that's great. These can be staple palettes that can travel if you want to take them to travel, or just staple palettes to have in your collection, period. So I think ColourPop did some really good things when they did these. They did a really good job with both of these palettes. I don't think you could go wrong with either one. It's a matter of preference. My personal favorite, that's a hard one. It really is hard because I love both of them. Because there's things about this I really love. I love the gray tones, the cooler. I love that. Even though these are some cooler tones over here too. I don't know. It was so hard to choose. I don't know that I can. I hope that they come out with more 35 pan palettes just because it's a great value, but at the same time, it's so great that they have these two staples to start with, you know? So, just like I said before, with Natasha Denona Bronze and Glam, I'm good. Like, I have my warm tones and my cool tones, and I'm good. I'm set. Well, with these, I have my warm and cool tones, and I'm set. I'm good to go. I don't really need any other palettes. So, it's just a matter of preference, really. Today, I think this side might be my favorite. But before I put this highlight shade, I thought this one was. I'm not crazy about this highlight shade I've got going on over here. It kind of ruined it for me. if I had a different lipstick on too, I think I would like this side better. So it's all about preference. So I'm glad I have both of these, honestly. I'm probably going to reach for them quite a bit. I can see some of my other ColourPop palettes, the smaller ones, me not reaching for them as often because I have these and they have, you know, alternative, basically the same shades. And it's just easier to go for a palette with more options than to reach for a smaller one. So I can see that happening. I can. But it was good to compare just so we have notes and we can see what we think about it. And then if you're thinking about maybe getting one of these palettes, then you can kind of, you know, make your own decision about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative and maybe gave you a little bit of, you know, insight on maybe one of the palettes that you're thinking about, or may consider in the future. So, like I said, those were 30% off, I think, when I ordered them. So I didn't pay the full retail price. But yeah, I'm happy that I have them. Did I need them? No, I have plenty of neutrals and even cool tones in my in my collection. I didn't need them by any means, but I'm very happy to have them. So I said I was going to stop apologizing, but yet here I am again apologizing. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that it was informative and all that great stuff, you know. Think about the bare necessities from the Jungle Book. Get that song stuck in your head now. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I appreciate you so very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.